7 American tractors helped shape how the U.S. military built bases, moved equipment, and maintained supply lines, especially through the 1900s. These rugged machines were crucial for everything from towing artillery in World War I to expanding airfields in World War II. Let's dive into how each model contributed to military success. We have a special tribute at number 1, so you might want to stay until the end. Number 7, the Holt Model 75. Few names loom larger in early tractor history than Holt, the company whose innovation set the stage for the modern tracked vehicle. The Holt Model 75 came into prominence in the mid-1910s and quickly caught the eye of the U.S. military. Before Holt merged with Best to form the Caterpillar Tractor Company, these massive Model 75 machines proved their worth in the toughest conditions imaginable on the Western Front of World War I. Their robust undercarriage, equipped with wide, sturdy tracks, revolutionized how heavy equipment could traverse muddy or uneven battlefields. This same track design would later evolve into the bulldozers and tanks essential to modern warfare. Under the hood, the Holt 75 carried an inline 4-cylinder engine that delivered roughly 75 brake horsepower, an impressive figure for its time. The power wasn't just about pulling plows or hauling logs back in the States. For the Army, it translated to the capability to drag artillery guns, supply wagons, and other specialized equipment across shell-torn roads. During an era when horses and mules were still heavily relied upon, the Model 75 proved that mechanical muscle could outperform traditional teams in both strength and endurance. Beyond raw horsepower, a key advantage was the machine's innovative track system. Horses frequently got bogged down in muddy terrain, but the wide tracks of the Holt 75 distributed weight so effectively that it could keep moving forward under conditions that would stop most wheeled vehicles in their tracks. This gave the American Expeditionary Forces a logistical edge, allowing them to move critical hardware more reliably and more quickly. In fact, the Caterpillar nickname sprang from how these tracked vehicles crawled across rugged ground with surprising agility. Returning stateside after World War I, many Holt 75s transitioned to civilian life, powering big farm operations or heavy construction projects. The success of these tractors in military service also helped farmers see the benefit of track systems for plowing through wet fields and tough terrain. So, while the Model 75's official run wasn't extraordinarily long, its influence on both American agriculture and military transport was profound. More than a century later, its legacy can still be seen in the design principles of today's track-based tractors and earth movers. It showed the Army and the world that a powerful track tractor could redefine what was possible in both warfare and industry. Before we roll out the next rig, do us a solid. Hit that like button and subscribe. Over 98% of you are AWOL on the sub list. Let's fix that before the next tractor ships out. Number 6, the Case V AI. Case has long been a cornerstone of American tractor manufacturing, and when World War II came calling, the company stepped up. The Case V AI, an industrial variant of the popular VA series, served as a versatile utility tractor on bases and airfields. Deployed around the early 1940s, this model was especially favored for towing aircraft and hauling supplies wherever needed. It wasn't as large or imposing as the big crawlers, but it offered something equally valuable: dependable, nimble service in environments where equipment had to be both tough and maneuverable. Under its sheet metal hood, the VAI boasted a 4-cylinder gasoline engine capable of around 13 horsepower at the drawbar. While that might not sound massive by today's standards, it was more than enough for towing loaded trailers or repositioning smaller aircraft across airstrips. Its short wheelbase and sturdy frame made it easy to navigate tight quarters, which was essential for busy military airfields crowded with planes, equipment, and personnel. Add to that a robust transmission and a well-engineered clutch, and you had a tractor that could keep up with a wide variety of tasks day in and day out. In many ways, the VAI's biggest advantage was its adaptability. Military operations require versatile vehicles ready for everything from pulling supply carts to grading unpaved runways. The VAI found its niche in these support roles, freeing up larger bulldozers and high-speed tractors for heavy-duty tasks. Additionally, the tractor's relatively small size and simpler mechanics made maintenance more straightforward, a vital quality in the field where elaborate repair facilities weren't always available. Culturally, the Case V AI also holds a special place in America's wartime legacy. It was one of many pieces of equipment that blurred the line between civilian and military application, emphasizing how ordinary farm machinery could be repurposed to meet extraordinary demands. After the war, a good number of these VAIs found their way into civilian life on farms, construction sites, and municipal services. Veterans who had operated them during their service sometimes bought them for their own agricultural ventures, further cementing the bond between soldier and machine. While it lacks the massive presence of a tank or the groundbreaking track system of a heavy crawler, the Case V AI was a humble hero of the war effort. Efficient, dependable, and versatile, it helped keep air bases running smoothly, ultimately playing a small but vital role in the Allied victory. And in post-war America, this reliable workhorse carried its proven military pedigree back to the heartland, forever linking its name with steadfast service to the nation. Number 5, the Cletrac M2 high-speed tractor. During World War II, the U.S. military needed specialized tractors that could do more than just pull plows. They needed machines engineered specifically for towing heavy artillery and hauling supplies across muddy fields, sandy deserts, and bomb-scarred roads. Enter the Cleveland Tractor Company, CleTrac, M2 high-speed tractor. This track machine wasn't just an adaptation of a farm tractor, it was designed from the ground up to serve as a potent prime mover capable of hauling large caliber guns and cargo at a faster clip than most standard crawlers. One of the key highlights of the CleTrac M2 was its remarkable track and suspension design. It used wide, sturdy tracks that provided better weight distribution, reducing ground pressure so it could traverse softer terrains without sinking in. The robust drivetrain also featured a well-calibrated transmission that let it maintain decent speeds while towing. This was crucial for military convoys, as artillery and other heavy weapons needed to keep pace with marching troops and mechanized units. Where older track tractors were slow and cumbersome, the M2 offered a welcome boost in agility and speed. Under the hood, the M2 often packed a formidable inline six-cylinder engine, delivering a horsepower range that varied over its production run, but generally landed at 150 horsepower at 3,000 revolutions per minute. This ample power channeled through a sturdy gearbox made it an excellent tow vehicle. The Army valued the M2 not just for pulling artillery, but also for recovering stuck or immobilized vehicles. During maneuvers in Europe and the Pacific, M2 tractors could be seen dragging everything from cannons to broken-down trucks out of sticky situations. In addition to raw mechanical capability, the M2 earned high marks for durability. Soldiers in the field praised it for being easier to maintain compared to some other complex, rapidly developed wartime vehicles. Spare parts for CleTrac designs were relatively abundant, thanks to a well-coordinated manufacturing effort on the home front. This meant that if an M2 threw a track or suffered engine trouble, it could often be patched up on site and sent back into service without lengthy downtimes. After World War II, the legacy of the CleTrac M2 lived on. Many were sold as military surplus, and resourceful buyers repurposed them for logging, construction, or even heavier farm tasks. Its name may not be as universally recognized as Caterpillar, but within military and vintage tractor circles, the CleTrac M2 is considered a pioneering high-speed tractor. It exemplified how industrial innovation could be marshaled in service of national defense, ensuring that American artillery kept rolling forward wherever duty called. Number 4, the Allis-Chalmers M4 high-speed tractor. Allis-Chalmers was another major American manufacturer that jumped into the high-speed tractor arena during World War II. Its M4 high-speed tractor quickly found favor for towing medium to heavy artillery, bridging equipment, and other critical assets. As combat zones became more mechanized, mobility and speed were of paramount importance, and the M4 delivered on both fronts without sacrificing the rugged reliability needed in war-torn environments. Built on a tracked chassis, the M4 sported an advanced suspension system that allowed it to maintain higher speeds compared to older crawlers. At the heart of this machine was a powerful inline six-cylinder engine, often a Waukesha or a similar engine that generated enough torque to tow howitzers and anti-aircraft guns with relative ease. The combination of a multi-speed transmission and heavy-duty final drives ensured that torque was effectively transferred to the tracks. This gave the tractor the muscle to navigate steep inclines, ford muddy terrain, and push through obstacles under fire. Beyond raw horsepower, one of the M4's standout features was its passenger carrying capacity. Instead of a simple seat for the driver, the M4 was equipped with a small crew compartment for artillery teams. This allowed gun crews to ride along with the equipment, reducing the number of vehicles needed in a convoy and improving overall efficiency in combat deployments. Having the operators travel with the gun was a game changer, as it sped up setup times once the tractor reached the designated firing point. The M4 was also hailed for its relative ease of maintenance. The war effort placed enormous strain on supply lines, and vehicles that could be fixed quickly were at a premium. Allis-Chalmers' experience in building durable farming and construction equipment meant parts were designed to withstand heavy loads, while also being modular enough for straightforward replacements. Army mechanics found it less complicated to service compared to certain specialized foreign-built tractors, which was a significant advantage in the chaos of a battlefield. After the war, many M4S were sold to Allied nations or made their way back into civilian life. Some found second careers in logging or construction, where their sturdy frames and towing prowess remained in high demand. Enthusiasts today appreciate the M4 not just for its historical role, but also for how it symbolized American industrial ingenuity, taking proven concepts from farm machinery and turbocharging them for military application. The M4 high-speed tractor stands as a testament to Allis-Chalmers' ability to adapt and produce a vehicle that truly helped keep the U.S. military moving when it mattered most. Number 3, the Allis-Chalmers M6 high-speed tractor. Developed by Allis-Chalmers during World War II, the M6 high-speed tractor filled a critical niche in U.S. military logistics. Its primary mission was to tow the heaviest artillery pieces in the Army's arsenal, including the formidable 8-inch gun M1 and the 240 mm howitzer M1. Manufacturing began in February 1944 and continued until August 1945, yielding a total production run of 1,235 units. Although often overshadowed by more famous military vehicles, the M6 stood out for its remarkable combination of raw power and engineering prowess, providing a mobility boost wherever heavy firepower was required. Weighing in at a substantial 38 tons, the M6 relied on two Waukesha 145 GZ six-cylinder gasoline engines, each producing 190 horsepower at 2,100 revolutions per minute. This meant the M6 packed a total of 380 horsepower under its armor plating, a high figure for its class. The twin-engine setup was especially useful when towing massive artillery pieces over rough terrain, distributing the load more evenly and ensuring that even if one engine had trouble, the other could help carry the burden. A horizontal volute spring suspension system provided both stability and a smoother ride than earlier track-laying vehicles, allowing the M6 to reach speeds up to 21 miles per hour. While that might not sound blistering by modern standards, it was a significant advantage when trying to keep artillery in step with faster mechanized units. Another standout feature was its sizable crew compartment, which could accommodate up to 11 personnel. This design streamlined operations by letting the entire artillery team travel with the gun, speeding up deployment and reducing the number of extra vehicles needed. For added protection, the M6 was armed with a .50 caliber M2 machine gun mounted on the roof, an essential defensive measure against enemy aircraft and infantry. Despite its utility, the M6 maintained a relatively straightforward layout that military mechanics appreciated. Spare parts could be shipped from the States, and repairs were generally manageable given adequate tools and some mechanical know-how. The operational range of about 110 miles meant the M6 could handle extended missions, whether hauling heavy howitzers through European battlefields or maneuvering under fire in the Pacific. After the war, however, it saw only limited continued service. Rapid advancements in self-propelled artillery overshadowed high-speed tractors like the M6, leading to their eventual phase-out. Still, it occupies an important chapter in military vehicle history, proving that robust engineering and raw horsepower could drastically enhance the mobility of large-caliber guns. In its heyday, the M6 embodied the very spirit of World War II innovation, bridging the gap between massive firepower and the speed needed to put that power exactly where it was needed most. Number 2, the Caterpillar D7. When people think of heavy equipment in the U.S. military, the Caterpillar name almost always comes to mind. The Caterpillar D7 bulldozer stands as a hallmark of American engineering that made its mark on nearly every major theater of World War II and beyond. Initially introduced in the mid-1930s as a farm and construction crawler, the D7's formidable design quickly captured the attention of the armed forces. By the time American troops landed on beaches in North Africa, Sicily, and Normandy, many were backed by these sturdy machines ready to reshape the land for strategic advantage. Central to the D7's effectiveness was its robust engine, a diesel-powered workhorse that offered both torque and reliability in demanding conditions. Whether it was carving roads through dense forests or clearing debris from bombed-out European towns, the D7 refused to quit. Its track system featured wide grousers that allowed it to maintain traction in muddy or sandy conditions, while a strong undercarriage kept mechanical failures relatively low. In short, it was the epitome of a go-anywhere vehicle in an era when that capability could spell the difference between victory and defeat. One of its greatest attributes was versatility. The D7 could be outfitted with various attachments: front-mounted blades for pushing earth, rear winches for towing, and specialized rippers for breaking tough soil or concrete. Because the bulldozer was so essential to constructing airfields, roads, and fortifications, entire engineering battalions relied on it daily. In places like the Pacific, where dense jungle and swampy terrain challenged even the hardiest soldiers, the D7 made it possible to set up supply lines and clear runways for incoming aircraft. Caterpillar's reputation for easy serviceability also won the Army's confidence. The straightforward design meant that with a supply of spare parts and a bit of know-how, field mechanics could keep the D7 running indefinitely. This reliability made it an unsung hero of the logistics chain, enabling everything from frontline supply routes to base expansions. Quite often, the very first piece of machinery onto a newly secured beachhead was a D7, preparing the way for the rest of the invasion force. Even after the war, the D7 continued to serve in Korea, Vietnam, and various other conflicts. Stateside, it also became a cornerstone of the post-war construction boom, shaping highways, dams, and suburban developments. Over multiple generations and technological updates, the D7 remains a staple in Caterpillar's lineup. For countless servicemen, the sight of this dependable bulldozer signified progress, safety, and an unwavering demonstration of American grit. Number 1, the Ford Ferguson Mototug. In the annals of military tractor history, few machines evoke quite as much nostalgia for Air Force veterans as the Ford Ferguson Mototug. While tractors like the Caterpillar crawlers gained fame hauling artillery or clearing battlefields, the Mototug found its calling on flight lines, particularly from the 1940s onward, towing and positioning aircraft, as well as hauling ground support equipment, GSE, essential to mission readiness. For those who spent countless shifts under the roar of jet engines and swirling propellers, this humble tractor earned a place of honor. The Ford-Ferguson partnership began in the late 1930s, famous for introducing the three-point hitch system that revolutionized farm work. Yet their collaboration also led to specialized industrial adaptations. The Mototug was one such offshoot, often designated with BNO model numbers, reflecting its unique purpose to operate in the tight confines of hangars and on crowded runways. Initially, it drew power from a modest four-cylinder engine tuned for torque rather than speed. In many cases, these tugs had heavily reinforced front and rear frames to handle the stress of constant pulling. What truly set the Mototug apart was its day-to-day role on Air Force bases. By the 1960s and 1970s, units like those at Charleston Air Force Base in South Carolina or Royal Air Force Upper Heyford in the UK employed these tractors to ferry generators, heaters, and hydraulic pumps, collectively called Aerospace Ground Equipment, AGE, directly to aircraft. Operators, sometimes nicknamed Kilo Commandos, would climb in from the back, practically bouncing onto the springy seat. That routine became second nature, as did the Kilo radio call signs used to coordinate movements across the flight line. Despite their simple design, these Fords proved surprisingly enduring. Maintenance crews praised the tractor's reliability, noting that parts were easy to swap out and that the machines could take a beating. For many enlisted personnel, a day's labor meant driving these or other enclosed cab versions well past midnight, ensuring each aircraft had the power and environmental support it needed before takeoff. Their relative slow speed was an asset in congested areas, preventing collisions and giving ground crews ample time to maneuver. By the late 1970s, some bases tested pickup truck-based units as potential replacements. While those prototypes offered greater speed and comfort, many seasoned operators felt a pang of loss when thinking about giving up the old Ford Fergusons. Even decades later, veterans recall the camaraderie, the diesel fumes, and the pride in ensuring planes took off on schedule. For them, the Mototug was more than just a utilitarian tow tractor. It was a daily companion in a high-stakes environment, a symbol of their service, and a piece of machinery that still sparks teary-eyed nostalgia. These 7 tractors weren't just steel and bolts. They were faithful allies that shaped the success of the U.S. military in pivotal conflicts. From plowing through the mud of World War I to paving runways in World War II, each model played a distinctive role in securing victory and building peace afterward. If you enjoyed walking down memory lane and reliving the feats of these unstoppable machines, stick around for more vintage tractor stories. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and join us next time for more American farm machinery legends.